want to watch a video with you. This is a video of Rachel Zegler. You might know who Rachel Zegler is. You might not know who Rachel Zegler is. Or like me, you might have seen her for the first time because she's starring in Disney's remake of Snow White. Yes, that girl. You've seen her. Who in their right mind would pay to watch that kind of garbage? I'm not sure. In fact, every time Rachel Zegler opens her mouth to talk about Snow White, I become more and more convinced that she was miscast as Snow White and is actually the living embodiment of the Wicked Queen. But she's gone viral once again because of this video. Let's take a look.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie.
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
I don't know who cast her. I don't know who would pay money to watch this, which is kind of a rhetorical comment because a lot of people will watch this movie, which is why we're talking about it today. It's an interesting PR tactic that she's using because it appears that she is trying to make us feel stupid for enjoying the original Snow White, enjoying the fairy tale, or enjoying the movie that came out in 1937, which is an odd tactic to try to change people's minds on a political issue, which seems to be what she's trying to do. If she's trying to tell us that the original Snow White was misogynistic, sexist, oppressive of women, whatever feminist nonsense she's trying to spew, then she is trying to change our minds to hold a different opinion. And it's a very weird tactic to try to make someone feel stupid. It's called gaslighting. People will sit there and be like, well, am I crazy? Am I crazy to think that this nonsense, this new Snow White, where Snow White isn't white and the 7 dwarves aren't dwarves, that there's only one dwarf? Am I crazy to think that this is really weird, that this is really woke? This is the tactic that she's using. And honestly, I will be very blunt with you right here. I missed this part. I didn't realize that this was the tactic that she was using because I myself am a bit immune from this tactic. And the reason I'm immune from this tactic is because I was homeschooled. And back when I was homeschooled, I know homeschoolers now are totally normal and homeschooling has been totally normalized in society. But back when I was homeschooled, back in the day, I'm 34, so it was a while back, homeschooling was not very common. And homeschooling had a lot of stigmas attached to it. Stigmas that weren't accurate in the case of my homeschool experience. Maybe they were in other people's experiences, but I was not wearing a jean skirt down to my ankles. I was not wearing braided hair and thumping a Bible and unsocialized and uneducated and blah, 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 sort of the standard stereotype of homeschoolers at the time. Again, whether or not it was true. But one of the things that I did learn as a child, you had to learn if you were homeschooled back when I was, is not to care what other people think, because other people met you, and as soon as they found out you were homeschooled, then you automatically had to experience the barrage of these stereotypes being hurled at you. Like, are you socialized? Are you smart? Do you know anything? And so you just kind of learned to let everyone's criticism or their preconceived notions roll off your back. So I grew up naturally not caring what other people think in that sense, and then being conditioned to it because of the circumstances, being homeschooled. So it was actually an interesting conversation I was having about this earlier with my producer, Rebecca, where she was saying she's trying to make people feel stupid. It's a form of peer pressure. And I was like, you're completely correct. It is a form of peer pressure. She's trying to gaslight you into thinking that the original Snow White, that she's trying to gaslight you into feeling weird that you liked the original Snow White and make you feel bad like you're some kind of evil person that wants the oppression of women if you don't like her woke nonsense, which is weird. It's weird. I mean, it makes you wonder for a second why is she even participating in this remake? Why is Disney remaking Snow White if they think the original plot of this fairy tale is so abhorrent? You could do any movie under the sun. You could take any fairy tale. You could take any script. You could do anything that you want in this movie. Why would you make this movie based on this plot if you think that the original fairy tale is so abhorrent? And I think the reason for this is because theater, and I know that movies are a type of theater, but theater has always been used as a form of political or social or cultural statement. It's always been used to try to change people's minds on those issues. And that is what Disney is trying to do here. So it would behoove you and me to ask, okay, well, what is Disney trying to change our minds about? Maybe they're trying to change our minds about how we view traditional gender roles. Maybe they're trying to retrain the minds of the young girls who actually will go watch this. I mean, I can sit here and mock, like, who on earth is going to pay to see this? But the fact of the matter is a lot of young girls are going to go see this, and their minds are going to be influenced by what's in this movie and the way that women are portrayed, the way that men are portrayed. And it seems, based on everything that we have heard so far from Rachel Zegler, that this new Snow White remake is going to be focused on feminism, essentially, hating men, telling women that they should be more career focused, kind of demeaning wanting to get married and fall in love and have a family, and really demonizing the idea of a knight in shining armor. And the knight in shining armor became part of fairy tales because of human nature, because women and men fall in love, because we as women are different than how men are. Essentially, the knight in shining armor is a representation, this is just the Christian worldview here, of traditional gender roles, that men are supposed to be the protectors. They are supposed to protect women, who are the homemakers or the creators of life. That's the Christian worldview. That's why it shows up in so many fairy tales. But it seems that the political, cultural, and social statement that Disney is trying to make with this piece of entertainment is to change the minds of young girls, or to re-educate the minds of young girls about how to view traditional gender roles or traditional roles of men and women. I don't even like to use the word gender anymore. But the desire for companionship and partnership in a spousal relationship is not bad. There's nothing to be ashamed of to desire love in a husband and a family. There's a reason that movies like Snow White resonate across political lines, that young women for literally centuries have liked this fairy tale, because you don't have to be a Republican to feel this way. This is human nature. This is how women are made. They want to watch a love story. The deep desire for a family is universal, is what I'm trying to say. It crosses time, and it is perfectly normal. And Disney seems to be trying to tell young women, or retrain young women's minds, gaslight them into thinking that that's somehow bad. It's a deeply dangerous political narrative that we are seeing from Disney. And by the way, conservatives are not, I want to address this narrative I've seen quite a bit on X. Conservatives are not the one making this Snow White remake popular with our criticism, not at all. In fact, this has been something that Republicans have fallen for a long time. If we ignore pop culture influences because we recognize at the outset that they're bad, if we just brush them under the rug, ignore them, try to turn a blind eye to them, then those influences are still influences on young people's minds. We just aren't competing or trying to debunk the narrative. We're not competing for the minds of those young people. And the result of that is we get chaos like we have now. So we should be talking about this. We should be talking about Snow White because it's deeply dangerous. Hi guys, it's Liz Wheeler. Don't forget to watch my show, The Liz Wheeler Show, every night at 7 p.m. on the First TV. You can download the free First TV app, or you can visit thefirsttv.com/Liz and start watching today.
Liberals and progressives want to suppress the truth and distract you from what really matters. Don't let that happen. Sign up for the new daily email that's become essential reading for true conservatives. Get the Up First newsletter. Visit thefirsttv.com and sign up today.